Welcome to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And this is Sinha Sayeed anchoring this very talk show. Viewers, today we have invited two guests. One is Prof.Dr. Mesbah Kamal, historian, former professor of Dhaka University, and now he is the Vice Chancellor, Royal University of Dhaka. How are you, Mr. Mesbah Kamal?
I'm well, thank you. But you understand the situation of the country now. And in this situation, it is very difficult to be well mentally, but of course physically.
Thank you, welcome to you. Other being Professor Dr. A.R. Khan, Chairman of Liberal Party.
Thank you.
How are you?
Not bad, just going on by the grace of Almighty.
Mr. Mesbah Kamal, it is known to all the situation in Bangladesh is now not good, not bad, not worst, not better. What is your analysis centering the quota system?
Well, thank you very much for organizing this talk show, and it's an opportunity to reflect my analysis to the audience, particularly those who understand only English. This quota system has developed in Bangladesh over last 50 years, and it did not develop under any planned under any particular plan by any government. Actually, whichever government came to power, they introduced some kind of quota depending on their priorities. Like Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, father of the nation, he introduced 30% quota for the freedom fighters. And in that given circumstances, in early 1970s, just after the independence of the country, there was a serious need to provide employment to the freedom fighters, and also he wanted his administration, to be run by those who had just fought for the country. So their patriotism was above any question. So he introduced 30% quota. That was absolutely right at that period. But maybe after 53 years, it may not be or wasn't any further, that pragmatic and practical, because the situation has changed. And the question that was raised, that was not about the freedom fighters, but not even about allocating quota for their children, for their offspring, but when it was being given to their third generation, and there was no specific direction about how many generations they would get it, then questions and eyebrows were being raised. But apart from that, since the quota system was introduced by successive governments, one after another, and it totaled to more than 55%. The general students who did not fall under any category of the quota, they thought that they had only the minimal, to apply or to get a job. And the situation has become such that most of the good jobs, governmental jobs, have now come under the PSC, Public Service Commission. So, the students who do not fall under any quota, they thought that their legitimate right to get an employment is being denied. So they wanted a reversal of the quota. Actually, they did not want, maybe initially in 2018 there was some confusion, but it was later, corrected, and they did not want abolition of quota. They wanted, reform of the quota system. Why couldn't they understand the sentiment of the students Why couldn't they understand their language? Why couldn't they why did they undermine or underestimate the student power? And many other questions. But above all these, I should say this is really very sad that, near about 200 persons have been killed, and also thousands have been injured, and also, taking the advantage of this, certain political quarters, who they are, it is not unknown, because they have been devastating the country in previous occasions. They did it at the time of the trial of the collaborators of 1971 in 2012. They did it during the election in 2014-15, and they have done it in many occasions. So these particularly pro-fundamentalists and those who actually opposed the liberation war, these Islamic militants, they have actually taken advantage of this situation, and they have been well prepared for this, because the kind of devastation they have executed within 2-3 days, and the kind of damage that they have been able to inflict is beyond imagination, because they have broken the jail. They have broken the jail in Norsingdi, and 826 inmates of the jail, they actually fled, and out of them are 9 militants, Islamic militants, terrorists, and 2 of them were given perhaps the the supreme sentence, death penalty. And also those 2, as it is reported in the media, have been responsible for the planning of the rise of militancy in Bangladesh. So, a lot of things, everything was shut down, including our, web and everything. So, people know about it, but what I want to say is this, at this stage, that, this has been a very bad week for us, and the challenge in front of the government is the restoration of law and order, which the government has substantially done by this time. But, the terrorists who fled, they are not yet arrested, and also it reflects the substantial power that they have already have acquired in inflicting damage on the national economy. So, given the situation, this is a very challenging moment, and the image of the government, of the country, has been seriously shattered, particularly by the use of Facebook and other.
I will come to you. Thank you very much. The image of the government has seriously been shattered. What is your understanding?
Yeah, well, Mr. Sinha, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to express my deepest condolence to the 187 young minds, those have killed in this Kota movement. May Allah rest their soul in peace. I also convey my deepest sympathy for the families for this unbearable loss. This is very unfortunate that we couldn't able to stop this, situation, but we could. This is my personal opinion, not my political party. This is my personal opinion that if we want, we could stop this. We could save those lives. I think first of all, I will say that this is a kind of failure of our, you can say that our intelligence wings, they have a failure in this case, because they do not understand the already sir explained that they did not understand or underestimate the power of students, power of unity. So I think one of the biggest mistake was that our intelligence wing, they failed to understand the power of our students' power, even though actually what will be the happen next. So they undermined it. Secondly, I think the mistake of our political leaders, talkative speech, because I can tell you one thing, that one of the wings of Bangladesh Awami League, that is student wings, that is Bangladesh Chhatra League. The president of Bangladesh Chhatra League, she declared that, okay, for us it will take only 5 minutes to blow them up from the street. So this is another mistake. So actually they shouldn't speak like that. Even though I will say that the Secretary General of the Bangladesh Awami League, he also mentioned like this way, okay. So I think that was the major mistake. And today the total losses that already mentioned Professor Mesbah Kamal, that massacre has been occurred in all across the country, not only the metro station or elevated expressway, the prisons and other things. So this is our failure actually. This is our massive failure. So I think now, actually what happened is happened, but who will take these responsibilities? Is it, we are saying that some political parties, they did the massacre like anti-government activities they did before. So who are they? Even though law and order enforcement agencies, they couldn't speak like that okay, you are the guilty, I am the guilty. So they should specifically, they should go and finding the accused person, actually who is guilty. But if you say that I am guilty, that means third party, the third person, he can do anything, because they are safe, because they know that okay, if anything goes wrong, Mr. Khan will be accused. So I'm in safe zone, I'm in green zone. So I think that shouldn't be speak like that. Even you see, if you I never compare with other countries, but if you compare with the United States, just a couple of days back, what happened with the president candidate of the United States of America, Donald Trump, assassination attempt to Donald Trump. So the person who was responsible for the Secret Service, the director of Secret Service, Kimberly Shelton, so she has been removed, she has been resigned because of her failure. But if you think where is our failure? I think involving political leaders, all our law and enforcement agencies, even our intelligence wings. So now, in end of the day, now we are saying that okay, now the decision has been taken that okay, 93% quota for the merit and 5% for our freedom fighters and 1% for our handicaps or disabled people and 1% for third gender and for Adivashi. So they could say before it, because when the first movement was started, I think it was 16th of July. So they had 16th of July, they had a program like we'll stay. They had a message from the students that we will stay in our campus and we'll protest against the quota system. So 17th was a Muharram holiday, but 18th was a massacre because it's a complete shutdown was declared by the movements, the student movements. So, but we had a huge opportunities to stop this. Even though students, they wanted to talk with the honorable president of the country, but he denied. But he could sit with them. They are like their children. All the students, they are like our children. They are our sons, they are our kids. But we could sit with them, we could talk with them, okay, what do you want or what will be the solution? But we denied, no. We don't have any time to talk with our kids, with our students. They are our future leader. They are our national assets. They are our state assets. They will lead us in future. So, but we ignored them. So this is the result that now we are getting.
Thank you very much, Mr. A.R. Khan, and thank you very much, Professor Mesbah Kamal. Viewers, we are going for a short break and come to you very soon. Viewers, we are back to the talk show. Province Bangladesh is sponsored by Crown Cement, and we were having talks with Professor Mesbah Kamal, Vice Chancellor of Royal University of Dhaka, and Dr. A.R. Khan, Chairman of Liberal Party, Bangladesh. Well, Mr. Mesbah Kamal, so far we understand what really happened and what are the reasons. Now the question is, this is not the question of a blame game. Main thing is, what are the end product of the whole thing?
Well, I don't think that it's a matter of blame game or a blame game is going on. You know, the persons or the political agencies, those are to be blamed. They have to be blamed, and they have to be brought to justice. But the issue is this, whether the ruling party or the ruling authorities would take into account their failures. Would they assess that? Would they really take some lesson from this whole episode? That is more important to me. Yeah, because as I said before, that to be specific, the political forces who opposed Bangladesh Liberation War and who were responsible for the killing of the father of nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, they have been very active, and they have been undertaking these kind of missions in the past. Why I am saying this, that Chhatra League with its history should have been engaged in creating political awareness among the general students. They should have played the role of leadership in educating, politically educating, culturally educating the masses of the students, and inculcate the spirit of freedom in them. So instead of using them, or rather instead of doing that role, performing that role, they have been asked to to come with their whatever they could get with open arms and others, and attack the general students. That is where the general sentiment throughout the country went against them. But who has turned Chhatra League into this position? What the hell the leadership has been doing? Yeah,
right, exactly.
What they had been doing? How could they say that they did not need police for disciplining the masses, or rather the students? Chhatra League would be good enough to do that. Yeah, Chhatra League shouldn't have been used for beating the students indiscriminately. So that kind of things, also look at the demand of the students, agitating students. One of their demands is very significant to me. I have been in Dhaka University throughout my life. Yeah, the halls of residences, the seats are distributed by the student wing of the ruling government always over last many years. And then why the hell the provost is there? Why the hell the house tutors and assistant house tutors are there? Why the university administration is there? Why can't they check it? Yeah, why can't they distribute these seats based on merit and need to the students who deserve it and who are actually students, not non-students or passed out students? So why couldn't they have control? So one of the demands of the students has been to bring those who actually attack the general students, to bring them to justice, and also to introduce a system of seat distribution in the universities, in the academia, where the general students would get, justice. So these kind of things, this might sound, small to many, but this is very important. I myself came from a Mufassal town, a town outside the capital, and I know how important it was for me to get a seat in the dormitory. Yeah, as I was saying, the general students are the most sufferers, because the administration do not give the necessary protection to them. Yeah, and why don't they give it? Because because we have to go deep into the roots of the problem. Because whichever party is in power, you name it, BNP, Jamaat, Awami League, or even Ershad's party, Jatiyo Party, whichever it is always, the ruling party students, they dominate, the leaders they dominate, and they even, they even decide sometimes who would be the vice chancellor or who would be the provost.
Right.
Yeah. And also the culture has been that, the government in power, they prefer to choose, those particular persons who would abide by them, who would be loyal to them, and who would actually, give all their blessings to the government party student leaders. So what happens, so those kind of selection, even the teacher selection, appointments, everything. I'll just complete. The whole thing has created such a mess that unless it is cleaned up, unless a formal education atmosphere is introduced, and from the recruitment of the teachers, appointment of the officials, from VC to assistant house tutor, and equal right ensured of all students, be a party man or a non-party man. Yeah, unless that is ensured, the campuses will not be, quiet.
Thank you very much. Professor Toyar Khan, you listened to what Professor Dr. Mesbah Kamal said, and he was very much aware of the 8-point demands of the students. And to some extent, he echoed the whole thing. Yeah. What is your realization of it?
No, I do agree. I think Professor Mesbah Kamal was saying excellent, because of problem has been actually arised due to the political leaders. Not only the political leaders, also the students' wings of the ruling party. So that's why the general students actually, they are always left behind. So there's the main problems. He mentioned that finding a seat and other things, because students are coming from the outside of Dhaka, from suburban areas. So actually Dhaka is a capital city, absolutely new for them. Even though huge, biggest the campus, 600 acres of University of Dhaka, for the campus also for them is a huge, is a big areas. So everything is new for them. So they are actually real sufferer. So in terms of everything, not only finding a seat in the dormitory, in terms of everything. So even though he mentioned one thing, that even though now the students leaders, actually they decide who will be the provost and other things. So I really appreciate it, because nowadays nobody actually mention it or declare it like that. So actually what my opinion right now, so whatever is happened is happened. Now we are curfew is going on, I don't know how long it will continue. But I think right after 53 years, we are searching a Jamaat or Razakar or Shibir. This is, for me, this is very funny. I don't understand, right after 53 years of independence, the person who is right now 60 years old, so he was only 7 years old during the liberation period. So after 53 years, we are searching Razakar, we are searching Shibir, or we are searching Jamaat. So this is for me, I don't understand actually what is the real fact in this. I think now we should unite the nation. We should unite all the people of the country. Even though we should recognize ourselves as a Bangladeshi. So this is my fundamental rights to do politics in country. So, for example, all the political parties, they have their student wing, like Chhatra Dal relating to BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Chhatra League is relating to Bangladesh Awami League. Same, so Chhatra Union also, Chhatra Shibir also. So if you allow them in politics, then they should also, you should give them opportunities for political activities also. Because without having democracy, without having democratic process, I think these sort of problems will be arise again and again. You see, already we face lots of problem in 2014, 2015, 2018 because of the lacking of democratic process, lacking of democracy. I think we should establish democracy first, democratic process first, even the voting rights. Because young generation, they forget how to cast their vote. Even they never went to the poll. So I think now we all have to work together for our next generation, for our beloved country Bangladesh, not for us, for our next generation, so that we can have a wonderful united country. We have a wonderful coordinated nations. We can work together, not blaming each other, not like that, okay, you are a Jamaat, I am a Chhatra League, not like that. I do not want to divide my nation furthermore. Our identity is one identity should be that, like we are Bangladeshi, and we want to do something for our next generation so that we can see the world that, look, Bangladeshi can do this.
Thank you very much. Wonderful.
But I have some, strong difference with what Mr. Yahya Khan has said.
This is time for short break. Viewers, we're going for a short break. Come to you again very soon. We are back to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement, and we were having talks with Professor Mesbah Kamal and Professor A.R. Khan. And both of them are very much serious about the issues in question. Well, Mr. Mesbah Kamal, you listened to what Professor A.R. Khan uttered and voiced. What are your responses?
Thank you, Dr. Sinha Sayeed. I would very respectfully beg to differ from in some points with Dr. A.R. Khan. He spoke about dividing the nation. I would rather say that the nation has been divided since the independence or from before the independence. With the foundation of Pakistan in 1947, based on communal divide, the nation has been divided. The language movement, helped to, develop ourselves on the basis of a secular nationalism. But the pro-Pakistani elements, they continued with the, pro-fundamentalist thinking, and they continued their communal, activities. So, communalism and secularism cannot go together. So this will divide the nation, and this is still dividing the nation. Now you have to choose which is progressive. Unless you choose the path of progress, you are actually pulling the nation towards back. Why I'm saying this, that
Sir, I have one question to you, sir.
Please.
Okay, sir. I have one question to you, sir. I don't understand, sir, why then 18 years old young minds, why they joined with Chhatra Shibir? Why don't they join to Chhatra League or Chhatra Dal or Chhatra Samaj or Chhatra Union? Why did they choose Chhatra Shibir as a political parties or their political ideal?
Again, I'm sure that you are pretty wrong in this supposition. These students who actually wanted quota reform, they don't, 98% of them do not belong to
any political
Islamic Chhatra Shibir,
or
most of them do not belong to any political party. But they have been demanding certain reforms which affect their life. So they have been demanding which would ensure, a future job for them based on their merit. So they did not join Shibir. Of course, they are not Rajakas. Yeah. And maybe there is a very small section who may have been connected with Shibir or with Chhatrodal or anything. But, the masses, the bulk of the students do not belong to them. Now, the question is this, as I was coming to you, that, the nation is actually divided along the ideological lines. And you can understand that, and the ideological manifestation of it, what you have actually just uttered. You spoke of Bangladeshi nationalism. Now, Bangladeshi nationalism and Bengali nationalism, these are two clearly different ideologies.
Right.
Now, the issue is this, it did not end there. They are producing their political offsprings. They have trained. Jamaat-e-Islam has not so far accepted that they committed mistake in 1971. They still say that they did not do anything wrong in 1971. So they are actually preaching that, supporting the Pakistani, genocide and supporting the oppression of women, supporting the arson attacks, villages after villages have been justified. Justified for what? They say in the name of Islam. This is not Islam. Islam doesn't say that you go and rape or you support the rapist, you support the genocide. So in the name of Islam, these are all criminals. And still today they are producing their political offsprings. Yeah, who are saying that, Razakas were not wrong. So, or Al-Badrs were not wrong, Jamaat was not wrong, Nizam-e-Islam was not wrong, or all collaborators were not wrong. So, this political offsprings must be challenged and must be, shown the correct path. So, ideological fight is very important, but apart from that, that fight has to go on. Those who are still taking up arms and actually fighting the existence and the process of development of Bangladesh, they must be, put down. But again, what I want to conclude by saying, I don't know whether I'll get a chance to come back. I want to say that there are lots of challenges before Hasina government now. One is restoration of law and order. It has already been, within a week, the government has been able to restore, but, the threat is looming large. That the law and order situation might break down any time. So restoration and ensuring law and order is a big challenge. Then again, economy is a big challenge for this government. The prices of essentials, that is a big challenge. And also the government is not going into the roots of the problem. It's not it's not touching the capitalist basis of the state. It's not following the path of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who followed a mixed economy. It is rather following the World Bank path, American path of this, laissez-faire economy, of this, open market. You cannot control the commodity, the prices of the commodity by open market solutions. But you have to ensure that the people, general people, the masses, the poor people get, essentials duly. And also, good governance is a challenge. Holding elections, credible elections is a challenge. These are some of the things. And the image, that has been, somewhat shattered by the campaign of this social media, on which the militants has large control. Those things, that has to be regained. Bangladesh is a country of secularism. Bangladesh people has always been historically, culturally secular, and this secularism is the basis of our liberation war. And secularism, democracy, and socialism and nationalism, these four bases must be held high.
Thank you very much. Mr. A.R. Khan, long speech was given by Professor Dr. Mesbah Kamal. Now, what is your conclusion?
Okay, I will in some points actually I will agree with Professor Mesbah Kamal, but I have some differ also, because in terms of some terms like Rajakar, Al-Badr, Al-Shams and other terms, I'll say that I already mentioned earlier that person who is 60 years old now, so he was at the time of liberation he was 7 years old. Fine, if any person did a wrong thing in the time of liberation war, I understand that, okay, definitely he should be under justice. But person who is 30 years old now, so how can I blame him as a Rajakar? So as a 30 years old or 40 years old
nobody
person,
blaming them as Rajakars.
but we are saying the group
nobody
of people,
blaming them as
but we are saying that, okay, in terms of Razakar, we are saying the term Razakar, but I think these the terms actually, some terms Razakar, Al-Badr, Al-Shams, okay, they had a lot of guilties at the time of liberation war. I understand they should be under justice, I agreed, but those are now under 50 years old. They didn't born, they born after the liberation war. Now if we blame them as a Rajakar, as a Shibir or something like that, I think this is not fair. This is not, that we fight for equality, Shammo. So but if we discriminate each other, to blame each other in terms of using these sort of words, I think this is dividing our nation. So this is one thing. So now what will happen actually, what will happen now under these circumstances, that huge number of people already killed or died, even the law enforcement agency also, even though thousands of injured, even thousands of people already arrested in terms of in these activities. So what will be the next actually? Main problem is that we have to, the present government actually, the Hasina government, they should take care of the control of corruption, because you see the corruption is everywhere. Even though she mentioned that he is one of his personal staff, so she has a owner of 4,000 crore taka. She mentioned that 400 crore is a owner of 400 crore. So can you realize that what's happening in the country? So corruption should be controlled, because in also, so right now more than 8 million young minds, they are addicted in drugs. So we should control these sort of things, unemployment, then child marriage, then also child labor. So we have a huge problems in us, even though controlling of the commodity prices. So government here, they absolutely fail to control all those things in terms of, if I said that unemployment, then drug, then commodity controlling and other things. So that will be a challenge for them. That's why I think we should go for the establishing of democracy first. That means all the political parties should be allowed for their political practices. Not like that, okay, you can arrest as a whole. You see the last for 3 days, more than 1,200 political leaders from Bangladesh Jatiyatawadi Dol and from Jamaat and other parties, they have been arrested. Even maybe more political leaders will be arrested very soon, or they will be captured. But I think that should be done, because you see, one thing I mentioned earlier, that when the Trump assassination attempt was done, so nobody was arrested there. Only the guilty person, he was stepped down, or he has been shot. But in our country, 2,000 people, okay, you can blame 200 or 500 people for without any reason. So I think you should find the right person who is guilty, who is accused, or who did the wrong things. But if you blame plenty of students, but plenty of people, like, okay, 200 people had been accused for this occurrence, then what happened, anytime I may be arrested anytime, because of they said, okay, Dr. Khan was also in this massacre. So I think we should reform our you know, the, what do you say, that administrative justice also. Even though I think our legislature, our executive body, even though our lawmakers, those are lawmaking bodies also, those are. I think we should reform in these terms. You cannot blame at a glance or at a time together that these 500 people are guilty for this massacre, for this violence, for this anti-social activities or anti-state activities. So find a right person, okay, he should be under judiciary or under jurisdiction. So this is the way to actually solve this problem.
Thank you.
Otherwise we will just blame each other. Again and again it will happen. So better, I think we should establish now democracy, democratic process, democratic rights, human rights and other things.
Thank
I think
country will
be
Khan, and thank you very much.
Can I just add quickly one sentence?
Just 30 seconds.
Yeah. I would like to say that the perpetrators must be punished, but of course no innocent person should be penalized. So the
but
trial,
all the political leaders are already arrested.
Trial. I mean the trial should be free and fair. That I would agree with you, but at the same time I would say that a very organized crimes actually took place in last few days, and these were well planned, well ahead. That has been reflected through the kind of operations they have committed. So they must be brought to justice. Otherwise, we won't be able to, ensure the safety of the people and sovereignty of the nation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mesbah Kamal. Thank you, Mr. Director.
Thank you.
Viewers, we are about to end this talk show, and before ending the talk show, as usual, I have to summarize what the two speakers voiced here. Both of them are very much patriot from their own standpoints, and both feel seriously the Bangladesh should be in a position for which we can be proud, and the next generation may feel that Bangladesh is Bangladesh. It's not a Bangladesh of the backward country. It is a country rising very high, and both of them are of the same mind that what is happening at this very moment in Bangladesh center in quota system is not so promising from the standpoint of law and order situation. And pointedly, Professor Mesbah Kamal elaborated the 8 points, and he also emphasized that most of the points are very much in consonance with the spirit of the real demand of the students, and he sided with them from this point. And Mr. Yahya Khan also echoed the same voice. But the thing is that on point of nationalism, Bangladeshi and Bengali, they differ to some extent. But finally, they agreed that we are Bengali and we are Bangladeshi, both. And both of them feel the present stalemate, which is happening, which is taking us to a long way, should be stopped immediately. And the challenges before the Hasina administration are serious indeed. And both of them are of the same mind also, that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina should take such decision which is good for all, not for any group, any person, any vested peoples. And thank you very much. We will meet you again in the next talk show.